the number of new homes that were created, apartments and single-family homes, was less than this. Less than 10 in that period of time. So hearing that there's over 150 units that are about to come online that are going to be affordable, and that there's more coming online in the future because of the developments that are happening, that's a really powerful thing. That tells me that some things are going right. But there's also a story of so much that needs to happen. When we hear about what happened at Broadmoor and the loss of those homes, that actually means that the community ends up sort of losing ground all the time. And when we know that the city of Eden Prairie needs over 1,200 new homes for households, for families making under $50,000 a year, that means that we all have to figure out how to work together to kind of step up our game. Housing Justice Center works in partnership with organizations, and our commitment to folks here and folks in the room is to figure out what are the things that we can do to help as you guys are trying to create new policies and new programs that are going to make these communities more affordable for more people here. Because we all know if we don't do things different, we're not going to make the progress that we need to make. And the great thing is, there's some shared values in this room. Everybody's talking about how we need a space for everyone. So I think there are ways to get there. And what we can do is help as attorneys and policy advocates, as you guys are trying to make ideas happen, to provide the technical assistance and support that hopefully will help those things be more successful. There's a lot of great work going on, but there's also a really long way to go. And these stories kind of brought home both of those issues here at Eden Prairie. So thank you so much, and I look forward to working with everybody here.
Okay, and now I would like to invite up Auntie Farina, principal of the Universal Academy Charter School, and she's going to speak to us a little bit about how all of this, the housing and security issues impact our students in the schools.
السلام عليكم. مدني مروي dadka meesha isugu yimid dhammaantiin waa idin salaamaya. Dad badan English loo hadlay xoogaa af Soomaali waa inaan maqashiin markii. I'm so grateful to be here tonight. My name is Farhiya Ainte, and I am a principal and executive director and also the founder of Universal Academy Charter School. I live in Roseville, but my heart always is with the Eden Prairie community. The reason I'm connected with Eden Prairie is my best friends live here, and Eden Prairie community, especially Somali community, they are connected and they are outgoing and wonderful people. I live in Roseville. I don't see that many Somali people in Roseville. Whenever I want to go out and have friends and spend time with anybody, I'll come to Eden Prairie. So I always like Eden Prairie. I'm so glad to meet Eden Prairie mayor and all these wonderful people, and I'm so glad to be here tonight. So listening all of those background knowledge and how families were affected by moving from Eden Prairie to another place, I want to talk a little bit about how students or youngsters feel about that. As a director and school administrator, we have a hard time having students, wave of students coming in, and when we train them, teach the culture of the school, move. Next year, we have a wave of students coming in, and we have to train them again, teach them. By the time we feel like they know the school culture and everything, they're out. So we are having a hard time, seriously. And there is a school accountability. ISA. We have to teach every kid, and we have to have every student grade level, on grade level. So how we can do that? This is a problem that we have as administrators. There was times that I had 2 students of best students who well behaved, highly academically high. Their mom came to me and she said, we are moving to Texas. I said, can I adapt to them? Can you just go and have the kids here? Because, you know, I hate to see students moving and going somewhere else and they have to start over. For one reason, they will be stressed out. They will be stressed out if they go to new school. They have to adapt, you know, for new friends, fitting in, knowing all the culture of the school, knowing the teachers, knowing the principal, all of that is a stress that students will have. Not only that, although we have same Minnesota standards, we have different curriculum. And if you are in a certain school and you adapt curriculum that goes to this school and you go to another school, then the cohesiveness or connection of the curriculum is not there anymore. So you have to try to catch up again. I really made a lot of research about what is the cause of the student mobility, why students are moving from school to school, why they are going from state to state. What is the reason? I collected all the evidence that I can get from just our parents. The very first thing that parents will say is, we cannot afford rent. So I have to go to that state and I may get Section 8 or I may get apartments that are less expensive than here. So housing is number one. So if our politicians, our federal government, our local government support our families to have affordable houses or homes, I think most of the problems will be eliminated. There's a research that says if a student switches schools once, he will be behind 3 months worth of education, reading and math. He will be behind 3 months worth of reading and math. Just one move from one school to another school. How about if students moves more than one time? If he moves 5 times, that is setting the students to fail. Students are failing because of that. So parents and officials, what I really will encourage you is to stick with the school that you are in, to stick where you are. We want the students to graduate from the school that they are going to if there's no problem. And their students, their children to graduate from that school, and their students or, you know, other, you know, to graduate from the school, same school. هذا هي اللي يكون شيء في الصومالي عربي يا محمد. واحد الريسيرش اللي سميه أو بدر ودهيسو ardayda hadday ka guuraan school kale ay tagaan 3 bilood in u dhiganta waxbarashada ama reading iyo math labadaba ay hoos u dhacayaan 3 bilood ay hoos u dhacayaan waa hal sano hadday guuraan hadday 2 sano guuraan ama 3 sano ay guuraan iskariyo waxyaabaha ugu badan arkaro waxa waaye familiyada oo dhahayo ma haysano guri maxay taan afford gareynayno waa meesha aan deganahay ku habboon dhibaatada ugu badan waa taas oo haddii iskuulka ilmahaaga uu dhiganayo yahay iskuul wax kugu taraayo oo aad la haysato xag walba oo ka fiirso iskuulka uu fiican yahay ha ka guurin iskuulkaas dib joog waa hadduu xag walba kugu fiican yahay because waxaa rabaa ilmahaas markuu ka soo baxo class-ka koowaad labaad saddexaad afar macallimiinta inay bartaan dhaqankiisa bartaan siduu wuxuu bartaan principalku barto iskuul ilmaha easy u noqoto saaxiib uusan raadsanin kale oo dhib ku noqon inuu saaxiib kala samaysto ama dhib ku noqonin hataa iskuul culture-kiisa uu barto inuu meeshaas ku adkaado way ku fiican tahay. I hear a lot of families in Edinburgh saying, oh, we moved to Johansen, we moved to Cheska, we moved to... Why? Why are you guys moving? Why want to come over? I won't see anybody. Should I go to Cheska, please? I want to spend time with you guys. It's tough, isn't it? It'll affect me too. So, that is something that we have to consider as officials, as parents, because of the child. At the end of the day, children, they don't need to suffer. They don't need to suffer. They have to have a healthy education, healthy growing lifestyle. And I think if we put that into our mindset and think about the children's education, I think it will be something that we can be proactive. Thank you very much.
Okay, folks, we're running late, and I just want to check in with the room real quick. It's our intention to have about 15 minutes of question and answers, but then we want to complete the program. So my sense right now is I want to get from the room, are there a compelling question in the room that needs to be asked? Because we will get a microphone to you, if there is one. And if not, we'll move to the next part. Yes? Mike.
Is there any intention to build apartments for 4-bedroom or 5 bedrooms because of most of the Somalian community, they are large families and they have many children and they need houses for 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom, at least 3 bedrooms. Thank you so much.
I'm wondering if, Diana, is there any, right now in that project, in the building that you're building right now, or will be, is the largest apartment 3 bedrooms?
Correct, yeah, the largest is our 3-bedroom units, and we have 14 3-bedrooms, and we typically, as a developer, the larger family-style units work pretty well in a townhome-style development rather than a multi-family, multi-story development, because it can be mainly to benefit the children and youth to have access to the exterior amenities, and also it can be a lot of wear and tear as well. Knowing myself growing up, running up and down hallways, a lot of wear on the building. So we'll be building the 3-bedroom units, and also would be happy to construct some larger units in the years to come. Work with the city if there's new opportunities as well.
Our property Elevate has studios, 1s and 2 bedrooms. There are no 3 bedrooms. And we're already under construction, so I can't change it, fortunately.
Yes, a lot of the audience will have to be. Yes, a lot of us. One of the go. Yeah, because a lot of us. Okay. That's a lot of us. How about the volunteer grade to allow to be able to show your volunteer grade? At least you can.
Yeah, she's saying that her family, she needs 4 or 5 bedrooms. really hard to have 2 or 3 bedrooms.
Thank you. So what I would like to suggest is that folks that are gathered here, if there are more specific questions or suggestions that you want to make in terms of what we need to see in the near future for growth in Eden Prairie with housing, please make sure that you're signing up on the sign-up sheets as you came in, and make sure that you put your question there as well, and we'll make sure that we get it into the conversation that we're going to be having into the future. So David?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And time will hold I should want the run already behind high. So Allah had never the way to you, minima, so I see left together to say you, but Oxania and Hadia Chan, so I left minima. I'm specifically about Mana and Shakata, Taj and Okala, Shaker, Mana, Shasa, social, Furlan. So man will push you as well. Yeah, it looks like most of the community concerns are larger apartments. What they're saying is all night, what we're hearing from you guys is like 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, affordable housing. Those are really sounding stories. But they're saying that our main concerns are we need larger rooms, larger apartments, like 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, plus or 5 bedrooms. That's really what really matters to us. Well, 5 bedrooms, right? Yeah. So that's what matters to us. Really, that's what they're saying. And it's really, you could tell what the lady who was telling the history, a lot of people are moving out is because of that lack of 3 or 4 or 5 bedrooms. That's really what matters to them. Okay.
Yeah, especially elevated Southwest Station Lifestyle Apartments. Interesting about any business units on the ground. We're interested in cafeteria and a grocery. So we have a larger community here. Thank you.
So his question was about business type units, right? We do not have any business type units on our ground level. We have 5 retail spaces. I can't say what those 5 retail spaces are going to be just yet because the leases aren't quite signed, but they'll be business, not apartment business, just regular retail spaces. Yeah, but I can't, we don't have the leases signed yet, so I can't say what they're going to be. You want to lease a place? Why don't you catch up with me? Because I think she wants to.
One more thing I hear from the communities is to their abandoned properties. They say that a lot of people are saying that instead of 3 bedrooms, first of all, how many bedrooms are 3? And secondly, elevates already been under construction, so much change. We have no problem. Is there any way the city or your, common bond could change their construction plan to include a couple of 4 bedrooms instead of 3 bedrooms? Maybe a couple of 4 bedrooms. That's what many people are asking.
So there are 14 3-bedrooms to answer the first part of the question, and based on the structure of the financing that we put together for this development, we unfortunately can't change the unit mix at this point, but it's definitely, I think the voices would be well received as well by elected officials because we utilize state financing for this development as well as local resources, and they set priorities at the state and local level for the size and type of units and type of residents that should be served.
Okay, we ready for the next thing?
I think this question is to the mayor, one case. This question is to you, mayor. Many apartments that used to take Section 8 vouchers are not accepting Section 8 anymore. There are apartment buildings that used to take Section 8 who say no to Section 8. If the families of Section 8 move out, they change that unit into a market rate. And so bring another Section 8 family in. They change that into a market rate. So it's a way of getting people, Section 8 people out of the apartment building. So what should we do about that? What should the city could do about that?
There are probably some experts in here that can help me with this, but there are two types of Section 8 housing, two types of vouchers. Vouchers that come with the project itself, depending on financing, and then projects, apartment complexes that accept vouchers that people apply for. They get the voucher and they can take it to any complex. I'm looking around here quickly. I believe if you have a voucher, you can go anywhere. It's just that if you're putting that voucher toward market rate, it's not going to do as much if you're going to a very expensive unit. So the voucher part of it, Eden Prairie doesn't have control any more than any other city. It's just who brings vouchers to us. We do have, okay, now I need some help, but I believe we have 400 to 500 voucher units that go with buildings. And they should stay, based on the agreement of the funding originally, those vouchers should stay. I mean, they have to continue to rent to Section 8 housing people because the structure of the building is Section 8 housing. The vouchers that people bring in, if an apartment complex refuses to take it, I think that's not allowed. Can you help me? Yes, what? So then you need to contact someone to help with that. If you find out that a voucher is not being accepted, which is a certificate they can take into a unit, then I think we should be helping you, because I believe that's not allowed.
Okay, thanks for those questions. Again, if you have other questions, and what we want to do is just move to the next part, which is actually giving some of our electeds have a chance to speak to us as well after what they've heard. So right now, I'd just like to introduce a few asks that the coalition has of all of us in the room tonight. So here's what we're asking to have happen next. We are asking, the coalition here, the Eden Prairie Housing Coalition, is asking that the City Council of Eden Prairie hold a work session with us, with the coalition, to do a deeper dive into all of these complex issues on affordable housing, on production, on preservation of existing affordable apartments, or at least being forward-thinking about preserving affordable to help people like we heard from Victoria from the Broadmoor, that we knew that project was going away. We should have been looking forward to creating new affordable housing for them. And then also protection for tenants. So we really want to see if we can get on the schedule with the City of Eden Prairie this year as a housing coalition in their work session. Secondly, we would really like to ask the Hennepin County commissioners to please also hold a work session with us, the Eden Prairie Housing Coalition, and other housing organizations, so that we can again do a collaborative deep dive into these issues and come up with some really compassionate, creative solutions to protecting, producing, and preserving. We would also ask that Eden Prairie enact a tenant protection ordinance, tenant protection ordinances such as a just cause protection ordinance to to put public policy behind already, the work that you're already doing to support our neighbors who are renters. We know the City of Eden Prairie does an awful lot to support neighbors. We have a really, really wonderful staff that goes out and really does help people, but we want to make it a set policy, ordinances. We're asking that the city should pass a Section 8 anti-discrimination ordinance. It's already not legal to do that, but we want to actually make it a city ordinance so that we're saying as a city we want people to follow this law. So that those people that are living in the apartments in Eden Prairie, that they have a commitment from their landlords that they won't discriminate against them. We're also asking that Eden Prairie enact an advance notice of sale policy, and this goes to preservation. We'd like for those organizations that are dedicated to preserving naturally occurring affordable housing. There are organizations that would like to invest in our city to keep some of that affordable housing here, but they don't have the advantage of knowing that things are getting put on the market. They only want to be able to compete with the developers that are coming in to make market rate homes, and if somebody would sell to them, at least they'd have the opportunity to bid on the property if there was an advance sale notice. We're also excited, we want to say really clearly, we're so excited about the Elevate project and for Smith Village being produced. We know that the city has been making great strides at getting that affordable as part of new construction, but we ask the city to please continue the CDI partnership to explore ways to place affordable housing along the new development on light rail and other potential sites in the community, such as the Eden Prairie Mall. And finally, we're asking the city to pass a strong inclusionary housing ordinance. We already know that they are talking strongly about this, but we want to make sure that the city is trying to target a 20% inclusionary policy that targets 30 to 50% AMI. So that if we have that as a strong actual policy, there will be less opportunity for us to say it's only if the developer needs something from us that they would be doing that. What they need from us is to go through the process of getting those approvals. So we're asking for that to happen too. And finally, we are asking everyone that's here tonight, please, everyone that's here tonight, if you have an idea, if you want to know more, to join us. We're a really small group of coalition. There's a whole lot of work to do. Some folks were telling me there are people that should be in this room tonight that are not here, but it's because we're so small, we're not getting the word out. So please join us, sign up over there, we'll be in touch with you. And lastly, we just want to say, again, as we said 2 years ago as we got started, that tonight we're acting out of love of our neighbors and community. We are the Eden Prairie Housing Coalition, and we will continue in the spirit of hope and respect to advocate for inclusion and care for all of our Eden Prairie residents who have made Eden Prairie our home. So all are welcome in Eden Prairie, and we want to make sure that continues. So now I'll invite David to do the thank yous and invite our elected officials to come up and speak.
Thank you to everybody who attended. I also want to let you know that we have several other people who joined us this evening to listen to the presentation and to listen to your questions. And I want to introduce the people that are with us. I also want to mention that some folks were here to listen to the earlier part of the presentation. Lori Pryor, our representative, was here and had to leave early. Carly Gotiza-Mattoon was also here, our newly elected representative from District 48B. We also have Mark Freiberg with us, who is a newly elected city council person here in Eden Prairie. Won a hard-fought election. We also have Jennifer Munn from the Metropolitan Council here. Jennifer, there you are. We also have Debbie Cattell, who's our Hennepin County Commissioner, who represents Eden Prairie. And who am I missing? Ron? Your name again, sir? And of course our Mayor, Ron Case, newly elected mayor. Okay, those are all the experts. Oh yeah. Those are all the people I wanted to make sure to introduce. Now I want to give them all a chance to say a little quick word.
I just No, I just want to say thank you because it's getting late and there's snow outside. I just want to say thank you for inviting me. The Hennepin County asked to have a workshop together with people around housing and everything like this so we can get a lot of clarity around that. I will make that happen. So that's fantastic idea. So I would love to work with you folks. It's near and dear to my heart. I was working on this as a mayor and I'm going to continue on this. So I'll pass this along.
I want to thank you for inviting me tonight. I am recently elected to the City Council in Naples Prairie. I see a lot of familiar faces. I thank you for your support. During my campaign, affordable housing is one of the cornerstones. And I will deliver whatever I can as far as bringing it forward because it's been lingering along way too long on it. My first meeting at the City Council, I see some faces that were there. They know I brought it up right away. And it's something that I'm going to bring up again. I'm going to work tight with the mayor and my colleagues, and we're going to do the absolute best we can do for you. Thank you.
Jennifer.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I want you to go home knowing that your advocacy really matters. 2 years ago, we were here, we heard you saying two things. We need to have more 3, 4, 5-bedroom homes so that our housing policies aren't separating families. We are working hard on that. Every time the Met Council gives a grant for affordable housing, we push cities, we push developers to make sure that those units are affordable to larger families. I also want you to know that we fundamentally believe that everyone, as a human right, deserves warm, stable, affordable housing. We heard from a teacher tonight that students can't learn unless they've got a warm, safe bed to sleep in. So we were working hard to do that, and please be the wind at our backs. Push us to do better, push us to build more, and push us to make it most affordable for those who can least afford it.
ninkan wuxuu introduction ku sameeyey dad la soo doortay ayaa halkan nala joogay labada presentation oo sidigana labada ugu joogaan labada way baxeen gabadhan Jennifer Ments baa la yiraahdaa waliyaha section A da qaabilsan ayay u shaqaysan committee-ka dagaalkan ay ku samaysaa sidii runtii loo dhigay guryo la awoodi karo marka sidaa u socda ninka maxaa la yidhahdaa Mark ay sidii shaqeeyaan doorashada hadda iskaga noqonay marka runtii campaign-kii waxyaalaha badan bingreen waxaa ay sidii ay hesho guryo iyagana afar ama la awoodi karo ninka dambeedka ninka runtii waa nin aad iyo aad ingiriis ahaan naga aad iyo aad qadariya campaign-kiisa slogan waxaa ka mid ahaa waxay noqotaba guryo la awoodi karo oo la afar ama suuqol ah waan isku dayayaa inaan culays ka saarno dhisi lahaa marka idinkana weli gacanta inaad barataan dadka matala sida loo shaqeeya ama dowladda kale u shaqeeya si ay codka loo gaarsiiyo quickly dib waxaa soo dhameeyey